Hello, no intro for you, no cam for you, nothing for you. You get nothing, you lose. No, we're gonna watch Professor Dave crush some RFK supporters. I saw the Dr. Mike versus a bunch of was it anti-vaxxers? Yeah, versus anti-vaxxers. Now it's Dr. Mike versus COVID RFK supporters. Okay, we gotta switch this. We've been listening to this for 10 days. Give me that Christmas
Hello, everybody.
stuff,
Welcome
baby.
back to the podcast. For today's guest, we have Trucks NY.
Matan, that's not someone we're doing. Matan, please. Professor Dave. Inside an all-white community in Arkansas. Or are they like racist? Like, are they like prejudiced against people that aren't white in their community? Or they are real all white, alt right? Does this work? And if we go like this, can you see Professor Dave? Professor Dave. There we go. And I'm just gonna fast forward because we're right about here. So you didn't miss much. This lady's whole shtick is that the particles are too small for the mask to work.
Federal new that weak principle with particle movements, that the reason why N95 masks actually work quite well for the COVID virus, because even when something is smaller than the size of the mask, the pores within the mask, the way that those particles move actually makes them more readily captured by that mask. Isn't that interesting how sometimes what we perceive to be the logical answer sometimes can be disproven in science? And this goes to show in the same way that we made mistakes in the past.
Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because they were putting masks on people. So now bacteria is gigantic compared to a virus. We know that, right? And my friend, by the way, was a biology research professor at UCLA. So I've learned a lot from him. And, you know, he went to a very established school, Cambridge University, and that's what he dealt with. That's why he said, this is nonsense. So I'm going to listen to the experts, which is Dr. Elliot Hamoff, and look at, you know, people were getting sick and worse when they were wearing masks because they were forcing themselves to breathe the very bacteria that was dangerous.
So that doesn't make sense. It'd already be in your body.
Out of your mouth now, and you think that if you're infected, that if you rebreathe the virus, that you're getting more sick? How fucking dumb are you? This is unbelievably insane. That's really cute that you have one friend who's a scientist who, that's anecdotal for all we know, is not somebody you know at all. But then you're also just like, what every scientist in the world says doesn't matter. What every doctor in the world says doesn't matter, because I have one friend who says the opposite. And I could be lying about what they say. They could be a fucking idiot. There are scientists who say wrong things. So you happen to find one who says something wrong because you like people who say wrong things that make you feel better about the wrong things you believe. It's just nothing but anecdote and stupidity with these people.
So when I'm in the hospital and I'm treating patients who have COVID-19, for example, I wear an N95 mask. You think I'm wearing that mask to potentially make myself more sick instead of protecting myself from the patient who has COVID-19?
Well, I believe that you believe that it works, you know? I believe that you believe that because the medical industry, I believe, has been corrupt for a long time.
What makes it corrupt?
Well, there's an interest, you know? People have special interests. You know, it's a revolving door. When you look at a lot of these NIH or NIAID, you know, these people have been funded by Big Pharma, and then they go in the medical industry. So to me, that shows corruption.
So if it's just, it's never anything but this. And this is the ultimate irony, is this fucking idiot is now, all of these people are gonna start saying, well, CDC says this, FDA says this. Yeah, under the corrupt Trump administration and the frauds that have been appointed to those positions who are spewing state-sanctioned pseudoscience, now you trust the government, right? These people are defending RFK, who is the fucking head of HHS. He oversees CDC, NIH, all these institutions, and she's sitting there saying that we can't trust these institutions when formerly you could. And now that you can't, because of RFK, she's here to defend that jerk and still spew this bullshit about you can't trust the government, it's a revolving door, blah, 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 blah. Pharma is not a cartoonish Bond villain that is in charge of the galaxy. Okay, get over it. Get a new scapegoat. It's insane.
But if someone is funded by Big Pharma, does that automatically make them corrupt?
Not necessarily, because there are honest people, but the fact that they censored, even Mark Zuckerberg was asked on the Senate floor if he was being, coerced by the government to shut down free speech when it came to COVID. We had a friend who, her best friend died of COVID shots.
Friend of a friend. I heard it from a friend of a friend.
Huge boils all over her legs, and they sent her home. They did not report with VAERS that was that. They actually didn't want to even talk about it, which shows me corruption. Then I had a friend, Dr. Simone Gold, that was treating patients with early treatment, and the Master Business Association comes to her, which doesn't have a medical license.
Okay. Wow. So free
there is an
speech
adverse
does not
effect
entitle
recording.
you to spread lies on social media. Free speech means you can't go to jail for the things you say. That's what free speech means. There are terms of engagement on social media platforms. If you violate them, you can have posts taken down. You can be banned from those platforms. Those are private companies that can do whatever the fuck they want. Has fucking nothing to do with free speech. Number two, your friend that died from the COVID shot, no, they fucking didn't. I'm sorry. I know that Mike and a lot of people would give you the benefit of the doubt, but no, they fucking didn't. You're lying. Boils on the legs. Go fuck yourself. You're a liar. And finally, Simone Gold, the heinous cunt who made millions of dollars fleecing idiots by selling them ivermectin to treat them for COVID, which does not treat COVID and cause thousands of deaths. This is exactly what I was talking about when I was debating Pierre Corey. Assholes like him, Simone Gold. These are the people who made a fortune by spreading lies that killed people.
I always
Thousands of people died because of Simone Gold, Pierre Corey. So you're here pretending to care about human life and the COVID vaccines that killed all these people when no, they fucking didn't. And you're championing Simone Gold, who objectively murdered people. She murdered people.
Die there
she told everyone, hey, if you take ivermectin, you won't get sick. Or if you do get sick, it'll cure you. No, it fucking doesn't. So people sat there, waited for
I am a
mail,
one-shot though, I guess.
Sometimes
do touch me, but who the fuck got me?
She got millions of dollars and bought a mansion.
I had a bunch of armor.
They ended up going to the hospital weeks later in critical condition. Couldn't be helped. They died. She killed people, and you're rooting for her.
Yeah, I got the base 5 this time.
And threatened to fire her, which she did. She got fired. That is called medical tyranny.
No, she got people killed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate
you.
Okay.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Mike, please turn it up. Please turn it up. You're doing exactly what you did last time.
Yeah, but Mike's very nice. Like he's not. He doesn't turn it up. He doesn't. Mike's not a person that goes off on
Hello,
people,
sir.
man.
How are you?
He's very kind.
Pleasure, Brian. Nice to
Seems
meet you.
very pleasant.
So I have a few questions to start with.
I would love to have a kind of.
The topic that you
Not
would like
really.
to debate.
I want an old grizzled
to say that he's
asshole
decimating public health. Are there specific measures that you would like to cover to talk about that you believe?
So you're very, almost morbidly obese. You're basically morbidly obese.
Where do we start? In order to do good public health, in order for me to know what treatments are right for my patients, we need to do research. And currently, the NIH, the CDC budgets for research have been absolutely decimated by billions of dollars. In fact, I wrote down a few of them, if you don't mind me sharing, because I think it's valuable to talk about. So we're not talking in abstract.
Okay.
For research, we've terminated $3.8 billion into cancer, HIV, ALS, and maternal health, important subjects. The entire NIH CDC budgets have been cut in half. We've created an issue where in the Environmental Protection Agency for the Office of Research, we fired over 1,000 scientists who do that research to figure out if there's toxic pollutants that cause negative health outcomes. We've cut the CDC branch for environmental health tracking for lead and water safety. We've canceled NIH diabetes prevention program that ran for 30 years. And we've eliminated the Federal Newborn Screening Advisory Committee. So that's just a few of them.
Okay. So considering all of that, before when we had all of that money, where did that get us? Look at the state of America, of Americans' health, and you tell me that the public is actually healthy. What RFK is doing is he is saying enough is enough, something has to change. And
enough is enough with the whole trying to cure people and keep people healthy and prevent diseases and treat diseases. Enough is enough. more people dying. We need children's dying. We need children dying.
Children's.
We need children dying.
He went full
Kids aren't dying of measles and whooping
dying.
cough anymore. Enough is enough. We need kids dying of those diseases. Jesus fucking Christ. Do you think Americans are healthy compared to what? Compared to 100 years ago? Yeah, we fucking are. Because we have vaccines and antibiotics and all this shit. But no, he's gonna go on some tirade just regurgitating all the bullshit RFK says about all this chronic disease. Yeah, there's chronic disease. There always was, right? And so I like that Mike talks about budget cuts, right? RFK is supposed to like be saving us from private interest. Well, why is he gutting and, again, not decimating, much worse than that, cutting budgets in half, firing all these employees at CDC, FDA, all these agencies that are supposed to be protecting us? That's going to protect us better by taking away all the money for the things that are in place to protect us, all of the safeguards against industry. Of course, he's just going to blow right by all that, and that's fine.
And I will say this very politely, but I think that you have to be insane to say more is somehow going to get us out of the current public health crisis that we have right now. Americans are fat and they are sick, and it is not getting better. And taking more and more money and continuing to flush it down the toilet is not going to solve the problem. We know what will stop cancer dead in its tracks. We know what will stop all chronic disease dead in its tracks. Do you know?
You know how to cure cancer? We'd all love to hear it.
Yeah, right?
I guarantee that you don't even know what cancer is. Insane.
Know what it is?
Lifestyle changes?
Lifestyle changes. The American Heart Association has known about this for years. The most important predictor of longevity, risk of chronic disease, all-cause mortality is VO2 max. So why aren't doctors, why isn't the government creating a public health system that says, you know what, we're going to focus on VO2 max? Because even if we stopped every dollar we had, putting it into cancer research right now, and we took that money and we said, let's get people moving, let's increase their VO2 max.
Let's have mandates. Let's have mandates to force Americans to eat healthy and exercise. Is that what you want? That sounds like fucking tyranny to me, asshole.
Yeah, it sounds worse than
what the fuck do these people want?
lockdown.
What do you want? You want to cut funding for all of the science you don't stand a shot in hell at understanding. You have no fucking idea what cancer is. And you want to talk about lifestyle changes that if the government tried to implement mandates about them, you'd be first in line to protest them. Tyranny, no, it's big government telling me what to do. None of you assholes want that. You don't want fast food outlawed. You don't want the government knocking at your door saying you gotta do 10 burpees right now or you're going to jail. None of you want any of that shit. You're all fucking hypocrites. All of you.
Cancer is stopped dead in its tracks. So the question is, when is enough to admit the system you are a part of has drastically failed Americans? And RFK Jr., by the very fact of how he looks in his 70s, does more to encourage people to live a healthy lifestyle and truly make America healthy.
Where's the way he looks
again.
like?
That's called steroids, you dumb piece of shit. He's a juicer. He is not healthy at all. He bathes in raw sewage and eats raw meat. That's why he's got a fucking brain worm. He's not the paradigm of health that you are pretending
Professor
he
Dave
is.
said brain worm.
It's just like this gym bro mentality. Yo man, just do a bunch of rip curls and you'll never get cancer. I'm a fucking idiot who has no idea what cancer is. Jesus Christ, man. Like, just learn what cancer is at the very least. You have no idea what it is. You have no idea what the genetic markers are, what oncogenes are. You don't know what cancer is. Stop.
Very passionate. And I mean that with all sincerity because...
I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass. Like,
I don't think you are. I know you might feel like it's coming off aggressive, but I actually think it's passion. And it's passion that I share. I think lifestyle changes are incredibly important. So in order to make these meaningful changes, in order to get people to eat healthier, to exercise more, that takes research dollars in order to figure out what programs work. Like in New York, in my home state.
Do you really think it takes research dollars?
Yeah, because...
It's really simple. It's sunlight.
Do you really think it takes... Yeah, it takes research dollars, you idiot.
What do you mean? It's eating food that comes from regenerative
How do you do the science? How do you get
It's not rocket science. It is really simple. But I think that the pharmaceutical industry tries to complicate it to make people question it so that they run to their doctor. And I'll be very frank with you.
What the fuck does pharma have to do with exercise? Are pharma executives taking out advertisements telling people, oh, you know what, you shouldn't exercise, because if you exercise, you're gonna get sick. What the fuck are you talking about, man? None of this shit has anything to do with pharma or NIH or anything. Go exercise. If you can get all your friends to if you can find all the obese people and inspire them to exercise and eat better, fucking great. I'll give you a medal. What the fuck does this have to do with anything regarding RFK
and
or
vaccines
or HHS or any of it? What?
I think that you have great intentions. I really do. And I'm really glad that it's you sitting here, because I think part of the reason why these discussions get so heated is because both parties start thinking that the other party has bad intentions.
Sure. There's no heat happening. See, that's why Dr. Mike can't get aggressive.
Putting our emphasis in
makes
putting
guys like
money.
this look insane.
Nobody thinks you have bad intentions. You're just dumb.
Nobody got aggressive. He got aggressive on his own.
That is
He's like,
no
blah, blah, blah.
idea
He's
what
like,
you're
you
talking
see him
about.
like he's primed.
And that goes for everybody in the room. I don't think, I mean, we have yet
Some
to
get a
hear
little
from
like-
everybody, but it's not about having bad intentions. You just have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you
But
don't
you've
know.
been convinced
So
that
many
you do
semantics.
by assholes
Yeah.
like Bobby and all the everyone in the Rogan sphere that I'm sure that you worship, or whoever the fuck your little podcast
Alex
heroes
Jones.
are. You are the problem, dude. Okay?
I can't believe I didn't pick that up earlier.
So the difficulty, I know it sounds easy to say, let's get people moving, let's get people eating healthy. So I work at a community health center. It's near impossible to change behaviors as simply as you put it. I've launched a program during my residency program where I, as a physician, exercised with my patients. I brought them in to try and see if spending time with your doctor, exercising, getting them to do it safely was a way to get them motivated. And we saw some successes, but in order to have done that, we need to scale that, we need to trial that to see ultimately how behaviors change. For example, you've seen research where people say, if you give people a step counter and they walk 10,000 steps a day, they're healthy. Well, yeah, if you walk more, you move more,
Or
you're
like you need
healthier.
26,000
But when we actually
steps a
looked
day.
at long-term research of getting people step counters, it didn't change behavior.
Literally just and unless you're saying we need to take that money that RFK Jr. is cutting from the budget and we need to spend it on the approaches that we know work, then all you're doing is just supporting the system.
Oh, what the
as is.
fuck?
Did he take half the budget and
Oh,
make
is
it
that
back
what
to
happened?
Well, personally, I don't think that's the government's role. And the reason why,
Then what are you complaining about? If it's not the government's role to dictate how people live their life and exercise and whatnot, then what the fuck are you doing in that chair and what are you whining about? You are the one contradicting yourself. Okay? Mike is telling you that it's not so simple to just go, hey everybody, be healthy, and you're still there whining about the fucking NIH budget. What is wrong with you, dude?
why I don't think it's the government's role. I'm going to tell you a story. And ultimately, this is what it comes down to, okay? I was in a halfway house in Newark, New Jersey.
Oh
okay?
my God, what
I
are
could
these
leave
people
the
they're getting?
halfway house 'cause I was technically still an inmate, and I could go to my job.
Oh, halfway house
Here
is
from
like a
that
halfway
house,
out
I
of
could literally go back and forth, okay? But
I keep
eating
thinking halfway
healthy
houses
was so
like a
important to
fucking-
me that I
the other
broke the
halfway
rules,
sane
went to
house.
Whole Foods, and bought healthy food on an $8 an hour job
Mental
at the halfway house.
We're going to the mental institution.
And I still did not make excuses, and I found a way to be healthy, okay? Doctors, the federal government,
you
it's
could
never going to
get a million
instill that in people, and I think that
jumping
it's
back
wrong
and
to
forth.
really place that responsibility on you. You do not have the tools in your toolbox to effectively change behavior. And whether it's ego, I mean, like, I think you're a good
What
person.
tools are we missing?
I think it's more societal, and it's more
Well, you just said
cultural.
the government shouldn't be a part of it. So when you say societal, how
The
so?
president would have more power right now with the bully pulpit than any form of legislation. And that's what I'm trying to say is that what RFK represents for so many people that support him, he represents a
Thought we
cultural
had a good
shift
thing going,
that
I
will
guess
have
not.
more power
Oh my
than any form
God.
of legislation. It's just like my political views. I do not believe in democracy.
want to restart
I
right
believe
off
in
the
a
bat. It's such a bad
consumerocracy.
start.
F the laws, f the politicians, f the legislation.
Bad omens.
They will fail us regardless of which party it is, okay? But right now, we could change the world if we all went out there and we made different consumer decisions. You don't have to have one president change. You don't have to have one law change. This goes viral right here. People start talking about a consumerocracy.
This goes viral.
Changes.
Consumerocracy?
Laws, politicians, legislations will never have that power.
Yeah, see, here's the problem.
This
like,
guy making his final stand
true,
here at this
he's
debate.
just completely misdirected. It's true that consumer behavior
Making his
can make enormous
Colonel Mustard
changes.
last stand on this debate
he
show.
has no idea what he's talking. He's here. If he was sitting here going, I don't like what kind of food is available at the supermarket, and I think that we should collectively make a change about it, that's totally fine. You all go, hey, nobody buy, what's like a super, I don't know, nobody buy Oreo cookies ever again.
Yeah.
And then Oreo cookies will stop existing because they aren't selling, so they'll stop existing. That's true. But he's sitting there and trying to dictate how scientific research should go using this same mentality when you have no fucking idea how science works. You don't know what it is. You don't know what scientists do. You don't understand science at a middle school level. It's just, this is what I see with these types, is like they're angry. They're angry about injustice. They can't articulate what the injustice is. They can't articulate what exactly they think they should be doing about it, or what kind of changes should be made. They just have no idea. They just know that they're getting screwed somehow, and then that makes them vulnerable to rhetoric from demagogues like RFK. That's it. It's every time. Hitler did it. Trump does it. All of these assholes do it. They just go, look at these angry people that are getting screwed, usually by me and my cronies. Let's spew some rhetoric to mobilize that anger and point it where we want it. And right now, what's in the crosshairs? Legitimate science. Legitimate scientists. Anybody who upholds the scientific facts that get in the way of whatever agenda is held by those in power, right? Anybody who says climate change is real, get the fuck out of the way, you're fired. We're going to put someone in charge of the EPA who's a climate change denier, therefore completely antithetical to the position that they're supposed to hold. Bobby Kennedy thinks that that vaccines cause autism, that all of this bullshit, right? He is completely antithetical to the concept of public health, so let's put him in charge of public health. And anybody who tries to uphold reality, just, you're either fired or you're going to be slandered and doxxed and whatever the fuck. We're going to create this culture of animosity towards legitimate science, legitimate expertise, which this asshole has gotten caught up in. He's swept up in it, and he's big mad about scientists. He's big mad about those stupid jerk scientists wasting all the money when everybody should just be exercising more, which has fucking nothing to do with the government in the first place. Unreal.
You are trying to fight a problem with force when the solution is power. And we have to shift from that.
Force, power is the same thing.
Before we shift topics, I think it's important. A lot of what you're saying, I want to say back to you, and you tell me if I'm seeing your point well, is that individual responsibility here is more important than societal responsibility for keeping people healthy. I respect your viewpoint. Now, this is my viewpoint, and tell me what part of this you disagree with. I think individual responsibility is incredibly important. I try and instill that in all my patients. That exercise is important. I try all different strategies to try and get them individually motivated. But from a societal perspective, let's, for example, say we make a city more walkable. We make lighting more available, especially at night. We create more sidewalks. We make more parks. We create programs for kids to participate in after-school sports programs. Those are societal things that politicians can get behind. Don't you think that will make it easier for individuals to be healthy?
All of the money that you're advocating for, and you're criticizing RFK Jr. for cutting in the budget, none of that money goes to those things.
When you, if you diabetes prevention, how do you think we think about that?
Yeah, the cut NIH budget didn't go to parks and after-school sports programs. It's a fucking analogy, you meathead. Jesus Christ. God damn it.
About diabetes prevention.
Well, let me ask you this. How many people have diabetes right now? Has the number gone up since that program's been in effect for the past 30 years?
Oh
so
my God.
When is enough? The definition of insanity is the same thing over
program
and over again and
gave
expect different results.
Agreed.
It's
right.
failed.
Is it also insanity to say, since this failed, better not do anything and cut it all together?
He's not saying better not do anything.
He cut it in half.
Okay, but is he doing nothing?
Yes.
No,
Tell me what he's done
not
to
doing
encourage
nothing.
people to exercise.
Okay, what about the law in Texas that he passed with, I forget exactly what it was, but he's going around.
What about the law he passed? I don't know what it is.
His bully pulpit,
that one.
and he's trying to inspire people and make
argue
cultural
against
changes.
myself
And
for you.
ultimately,
But
that's
he can
what
be an
makes him
inspirational
powerful.
figure and not be the head of health and human
Fucking
services.
So
explode.
it's really simple.
Yeah, he's not just like some jerk with a podcast selling supplements. He's the head of the fucking HHS, and he's demolishing public health. He is causing children to die. And you're whining about, oh, like, he's all, like, jacked and shit, so people will be inspired to, like, eat better and get all jacked. Seriously?
Where has legislation gotten us? We take all of our time, all of our energy, and all of our budget, and we put it into legislation.
I agree, it's been ineffective.
And here's the deal. Whether you want to admit it or not, when you have something like pharmaceutical companies funding 70% of research,
Do you think junk food is healthy?
No.
Do you think burgers and fries are healthy?
Not at all.
Why in the first month that Secretary Kennedy was put into office, he's sitting at a Steak and Shake talking about how brave it is that they're frying beef tallow?
Do not. Well, first of all, putting fries in beef tallow actually is not unhealthy.
But it's not about whether or not it's unhealthy. Do you think sitting at a Steak and Shake, one of the leading contributors...
It's hard to focus on this and
our
listen to this
obesity
fucking
epidemic-
conversation.
Or eating McDonald's on a plane with Trump. He didn't like that photo op, did he?
Yeah, right.
Agree. I do
Was
not.
that valuable?
I do not agree with everything that he's done.
Jesus
I
Christ.
What do you agree with besides the Texas individual?
I think that before he was getting into office, he was supporting regenerative agriculture. I think that regenerative agriculture has the ability to change the world. I find it comical that people drive Teslas because supposedly they're scared about global warming, and yet they eat vegetables and they have no idea that there's 550 gigatons of carbon in the air from topsoil depletion, specifically related to vegetable row crop farming. There's only 350 gigatons related to the burning of topsoil.
What? What are you talking about?
We could literally stop all the carbon in the air, dead in its tracks, put it back in the soil in 1 year if we switched over to regenerative agriculture.
Like
Why isn't
conspiracy
that being
theorist
talked about?
Because
debate.
he cut $15 million from the PFAS farm program to
PFAS.
track PFASs, which are
in the
potentially toxic chemicals
yeah.
on farms. He's cutting these programs.
Yeah, that's one thing that is hilarious to me is like everybody talks
Yeah, he
about
talks
like,
about all the
how
chemicals and
RFK
shit,
is,
but he
like,
cuts
raging
off
against
the
bad
chemical-
chemicals and everything. It's like no,
yeah.
he cut regulations. He cut like
Chemical
he's making it
regulators, yeah.
easier for PFASs to get into all these substances and stuff. Like he is so antithetical. Like he just says one thing and does another. So even
Finally.
if you are into the
Shit,
so
I
it's
should've
like
locked the
some of the
fucking
shit that he says, like okay, we're gonna microplastics
thing.
and stuff. Okay,
Not
sure,
managing my
that could be bad.
drops
but he
and
just
all
says
again.
it. He doesn't do anything about it. He doesn't like fund research into microplastics. He doesn't pass any legislation to make it harder to put microplastics in things. He just says shit to mobilize dudes like this, and then does fucking nothing about it. He does not. There's absolutely nothing he's doing to make anything safer or healthier, and he's doing tons of things to make everything unsafer and unhealthier. That's the irony here.
Once
The
again, though,
EPA
it
is
goes
losing
back to
their
the
research
consumer.
and
It goes
development.
back to the consumer.
But how can the
If
consumer know about the
makes
farm?
different choices. What do you mean? How can the consumer? Like I said, I was in a halfway house. Okay, I had everything against me, and I still found a way because I believed in it.
But what if that Whole Foods that you went to had toxic foods in it?
against me?
But what if
But it didn't.
Sorry.
Dr.
Sir, I
Mike,
appreciate you.
But it didn't. I don't know what the fuck is in any food. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But Whole Foods is awesome because Jeff Bezos and it's all good. Yeah, everything he was saying, I don't look. Maybe there's a kernel of truth to something he said about the topsoil stuff, but the idea that regenerative agriculture will stop carbon emissions dead in its tracks. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you understand what industrial CO2 emissions are? Do you understand that you have all these plants all over the world dumping millions of tons of CO2 into the air? Do you think that change it, like do better farming? Fine. I'm not knowledgeable about the thing that he was talking about, but this just does not do anything to reduce. I mean, climate change is a whole other topic that he got brainwashed into believing is not real, just like he got brainwashed.
What? Oh, is it because
like,
he
just
exploded? Yeah, he's way too close to me. He fucking
when you
exploded.
buy
That's what
into
it
this
is.
ideology, this reality denying
not keeping my
ideology,
distance.
you're going to be a climate change denier. You're going to be an anti-vaxxer.
I'm not keeping my distance.
You're going to be all these fucking things because you have these people who have shoved this ideology into your brain, radicalized you, and this is what you get. Is this guy's like, oh man, I'm gonna get Dr. Mike. I'm gonna tell him about all my super awesome truth about the blah blah blah, and you just gotta exercise and blah blah blah. There's just millions of people like this. It's so bad. The situation we are in is so fucking bad, and I don't know what to do about it.
Thank you. Yep. Hello, hello.
Nice to meet you, Dr.
Pleasure.
Mike.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
as well? I'm excited to be here because, you know, a lot of times when people do these debates, folks want to win. And genuinely, I want to learn from you guys and learn what we're doing wrong in healthcare that's impacting you. So I'm all ears.
I completely agree. It's not about winning, it's about getting to the truth.
Keep telling myself,
And
keep your
I think
distance,
we
keep your
all
distance,
can
keep your
agree that
distance, keep
we
your
all want
distance.
the truth, and that's why
Get one level?
that's one of the reasons why
Really
I
lost.
support RFK,
Really lost
because
that
he supports
objective here.
transparency, and especially with like vaccines and healthcare and everything like that. Another thing about RFK is that he's working to get fluoride out of the water. Why do we have fluoride in the water in the first place?
For your teeth,
Is
idiot.
it for dental care? I think that's an individual thing. If you want strong teeth,
not an
you should
individual
probably
thing.
just brush your teeth and floss. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, we're doing the fluoride thing. Okay, is there, what else do we put in the water, and what would be the reason for that? Do we put other things in the water to disinfect it to make sure that you don't get sick by drinking tap water? Is that an individual choice, right? Should we just tell everybody, hey guys, we're gonna send you tap water that 100% will give you all kinds of pathogenic diseases, but we'll also tell you what you can buy to put in it yourself to make it safe to drink, because it's an individual choice, right? We shouldn't do anything to make the municipal water supply safe for consumption, because it's an individual choice, right? So your whole the foundation of what you're saying is insane. But also brush your teeth, floss, etc. Look, you can have fluoridated toothpaste. I did a whole video on this. This was a while ago. This was like 4 years ago, so I honestly don't remember most of it. But I do remember that there's a topical mechanism and a systemic mechanism. So you want fluoride in your circulation so that it can get incorporated into, certainly for children, can get incorporated into the teeth that have yet to come in. And then the topical thing. There are two different things. But yeah, water fluoridation is just one of these things that fucking mystifies me, that people make a fuss about it. It's bananas.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't rely on a government regulated system of our water system to give you good dental care. Like, I feel like there's ulterior motives.
Are you
know what I mean?
against government programs that try?
What is the ulterior motive? The government is trying to do mind control. Is that what the ulterior motive is? What are you talking about?
Trying to help
Fluoride,
groups of people as opposed to just individuals?
Oh,
Not necessarily. It just depends on what it
Not
is.
see that
Because
double
when we say in America that the chronic health diseases in children is going up, it is. And I think I agree with everyone here on that. Statistics don't lie. But one of those chronic issues is dental disease. So if
You know
we
what I
can
think
do
can
something.
be improved by that? I think parents should stop giving their children so much sugar. Or maybe we should look at the food industry and ask why there's so much sugar in absolutely everything.
Can you walk and chew gum at the same time?
Are you going to bring up correlation?
No.
Yeah, you can walk and chew gum at the
So
same
you
time.
could do both things. Like, why can't we encourage patients and parents to not overfeed their kids added sugars and make government programs that improve children's health?
But there's no point,
Like, this is what is so hilarious. Like, you're flipping out that the government is putting fluoride in the water for your benefit, for your dental health. You want them to not do that, but you want to have a conversation about, well, why is everyone eating so much sugar? So do you want the government to do that? Do you want the government to regulate how much sugar people eat? Is that the kind of authoritarian government overreach that you want? Like, the hypocrisy with these people, I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, what do you want the government to do about how much sugar people are eating? Tell me. I want all of you people to tell me what you would like for the government to, and I'll skip right to the punchline. The answer is nothing. You don't want them to do anything, obviously. You don't want them to put fluoride in the water. You don't want them to put chlorine or whatever substances are in there that are killing pathogens that will get you sick. You don't want the government to do anything. You would prefer to get sick and die. So why the fuck are you whining about sugar? And why aren't we doing anything about all the sugar people are eating? Tell me.
Like, why would I want water with an extra ingredient if I could just have pure water? You know what I mean? Why?
It's not pure water. It's not pure H2O coming out of the faucet. There's shit in there that kills pathogens so you don't get sick. It's not... Also, by the way, drinking pure H2O is bad for you. It's bad for you because it changes the fucking solute balance with cells. It's a thing. I forget what it's called. But water would fuck up the balance. It would, too much water would go into the cells. Osmosis and shit. But, so, it's not pure water. You don't want pure water. That would actually be bad for you. Like, it's just a fucking mess. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Why would I need a government organization to
buy water without fluoride?
But why should I have to buy it? I think water, obviously, nothing's free, but like, water without chemicals should be free to get. If I want to drink out
water without chemicals. What the fuck would water without chemicals be? I'll tell you what it would be. It'd be fucking nothing, because water is chemical. The more you know.
Out of my faucet, I should be able to do that without having fluoride in it, without having to worry about fluoridosis or any other overfluoridation, in my body.
You should not be worried about overfluoridation and fluoridosis, because that can't happen because the amount of fluoride is regulated. It's like 0.8 ppm or ppb. I don't remember exactly. It's very little. There's very little fluoride in there. It's just enough to give you the appropriate benefits. You would need to have like 50 or 100 times more to be. Okay, maybe 20. No, I think it's like 20 actually. I think that's the right number. You can feel free to double check it, but I need to have a lot more fluoride in there to be worried about any of these effects. Okay.
Why would I not be
and you're against
privy to
buying a filter to get rid of
I'm not against that, but why should I have to go out and buy
use words like privy.
Because
you know what I mean?
Everything in healthcare or public health always has a trade-off. Like, if I'm giving anyone any medication, any therapy, there's always risks and benefits. So when we think about the benefit of putting fluoride in water in order to get kids to have healthier teeth, we think about the impact on the general population. And in fact, you're right, there's been some research that shows people who have high levels of fluoride, especially children, actually this doesn't apply to adults at all, but only for children, they can have neurologic issues.
Exactly.
However, it's very important to look at the numbers and the areas that were studied. Because certain areas, like in Asia, they have naturally very high levels of fluoride, not added by the government, natural occurring fluoride. And those numbers are quite high. So it really depends on what that number is and what that safe number is.
The thing about Asia is if that's naturally in the water, then people from Asia are naturally adapted to that, which means it wouldn't affect them.
They're from Asia, so their bodies magically can handle 50 times more fluoride. Holy shit, man. Hold on, I gotta read this. But okay, first of all, I'm sure that she is like not even aware that fluoride, that there's naturally fluoridated water. Like there are springs of water that have way more fluoride than we put in this water.
Okay, the guy came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't help when bosses. That makes sense if bosses are just spawning underneath me this whole fucking time. This is like a bad spot for me to pick to be.
To Asia, you would have neurologic issues?
If you said it didn't apply to adults, then maybe not. Because
as a child.
As a child, probably. If you're not from that area, your body's not adapted to that. Which means if there's studies shown that people who have high levels of fluoride in their body have neurological issues, then yeah, I'm sure that they would. But also, on another note, hold on one second. On another note, why? Because if there's fluoride in the water and fluoride in the toothpaste and chemicals in our food, there comes a point where these things start stacking up, and I would much rather have kids with cavities than kids with neurological issues. You know what I mean?
That's a false choice. You're not choosing kids with neurologic disease or cavities. That's not really the two choices you're making when you're making that decision.
So what's the choice?
So I guess my question to you is, when you say chemicals, like oxygen's a chemical, water's a chemical, so how do I'm trying to really get down to the core of the argument to better understand. I'm not trying to get into the gotcha, I promise. So like, how do you decide what a chemical is? Is dihydrogen monoxide a chemical in your book?
Dihydrogen, can you give me the short version?
That's what we expel when we breathe out after we breathe in, idiot.
Water. Oh, water.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can make...
Homeboy just did the dihydrogen monoxide on her, and she didn't know what it was.
Oh yeah, H2O dihydrogen.
Heard this one before. I wish he had pressed her on that a little bit more. That would have been
thinking of CO2.
I'm not a chemist or anything.
Carbon dioxide, like a fucking.
No, that's a compound. That's a compound. There's a thing. There's a difference between endogenous chemicals, things that I can make, my body makes, right, and exogenous chemicals that.
But does your body make water?
Does my body make fluoride?
Does your body make water? You need water to live.
I need water to live. Okay, but my body is 72% water, which means that I am fully made of water. Like I was born.
We need essential amino acids.
I was born with water. You know what I mean? I wasn't born with fluoride.
Yeah, but the water came from your parent.
My what? Yeah, my parent, of course. But
who got water from the environment?
That's fine, but like,
so
where did the first single-celled amoeba get the water from? You know what I mean? Like, we all any liquid
from the fucking environment. What are you talking about? Mike, that was clever with Mike there. I mean, he got her right away. Like, endogenous and exogenous. I only want the things that my body makes. Your body doesn't make fucking water. You have to drink. You have to drink water every day. You have to consume water to stay alive, right? So he's saying, what is the chemical?
I was camping right there, and that's where bosses spawn. No wonder I was fucking getting wrecked every 2 seconds.
Are we in 9th grade chemistry, or what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Kappa, I don't know where is it. I see it.
Like, all of these, I'm just gonna let her.
Living being has water, right? But not everything.
We need the water to survive.
That's
we need
fine.
food to survive.
We're not here to debate about water. So what's your point?
My point is, how do you decide what's a bad chemical versus a good chemical?
The effects on the body.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
The effects on the body, and what is the effect of fluoride? You don't know. You have no idea. You just believe lies.
Make it. NGMI.
My next surrounding claim
Give it a
is
shot.
that the Maha movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship.
The Amanda Bynes Maha movement.
Hi, doctor. Hello.
0.05 HP a second.
Okay, so
it's not even 0.5.
My claim is that the Maha movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship.
Okay, so for me, I'm going to take.
Should have locked that other contract.
I don't want to stay on this topic. I have the Delta variant, and I went to the doctors and I told them.
COVID right now, and you're no masking.
Positive, and my doctor told me go home
Dr.
until you
Mike's
have At the same time, we didn't have any of the
right?
Yeah. We didn't have any of the monoclonic antibodies.
Oh my god.
We weren't offered any therapies.
Monocolonic? Monoclonal?
She said monocolonic.
Butthole antibodies?
Where I was listening to doctors and then watching them be censored.
Monoclonic.
So I think if anything damaged the doctor-patient relationship, that was it. For me, I actually had a friend run up to my house from Huntington Beach, about a 2-hour drive, brought me azithromycin, hydroxychloroquine, and ivermectin. Within 48 hours, I started to recover.
Wow. Gee, do you think that maybe you were going to recover anyway, and none of that did anything? Because it definitely didn't, because hydroxychloroquine does not treat COVID, and ivermectin does not treat COVID, and azithromycin is an antibiotic, which is not an antiviral, so definitely none of those things did anything, and you just had COVID, and it was a relatively mild case, and you just got better. Did you ever think of that?
It's a lot of drugs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that hurt the doctor-patient relationship more than anything else.
Because your doctor sent you home without treatment?
Well, that doctor and 2 telemed doctors. All of them. No drugs, nothing to treat what I have.
Something about
Absolutely.
That? I'm saying that the Maha movement is sabotaging the doctor-patient relationship. And you're talking about how the COVID pandemic sabotaged the doctor-patient relationship.
Correct.
You know what's wild? I agree with you. I think we sabotage the doctor-patient relationship.
Great.
So Can we talk about how the Maha movement's impacting
Well, I want to share with you what I'm going through right now because a month ago my husband collapsed and had a brain tumor.
I'm sorry.
It's glioblastoma.
Glioblastoma. That's just. It's glioblastoma. That's what brain tumor is. No,
take a breath.
Yeah.
Totally acceptable to cry.
Yeah, but what I'm running into now is they want us to do standard care. Where I think as a patient, we should have the right to try. We're currently looking into Dr. Sun Xiang's trial for his bioimmunity therapy. He's getting treatment at Cedar, couldn't ask for better oncologists, but we cannot treat him with bioimmunity therapies until he goes through chemo and radiation, which basically, if he's not doing bioimmunity, that's going to kill both his good and bad cells. So for me, this is really personal. I am looking into it. And
okay, first of all, I think I should have the right. You have the right. Nobody's forcing you to do anything.
Just auto turn on before I get there.
Fortunately, doing the appropriate things in terms of getting legitimate health care. I feel like there are a lot of people like this who kill themselves or their loved ones, specifically with cancer. Steve Jobs did it, right? It's all this like, I'm gonna do
hooky
this
pokey,
other
hocus
thing,
pocus, yeah.
And that shit won't work, and then all of a sudden you've got stage 4 cancer, nothing can help you anymore, and you will die. I don't know what the fuck this bioimmunity stuff is that she's talking about. It smells like bullshit to me. Do the chemo, do the real thing, or he will die. Okay.
And I'm seeing the people that you want.
I mean, chemo does fuck your shit up.
Getting in the way of my husband's treatment, where I and my
it does work.
Work
from a moment.
Right to try.
You can do whatever you want. Nobody's forcing you at gunpoint to go to a hospital. You're at the hospital because deep down you know that's where you need to go to have any fucking shot at beating cancer. But if you really don't, if you're just desperate for your husband to die, leave the hospital and go do whatever the shit you're talking about. What are you talking about? Like, it's like people are like, oh, I was forced to take the COVID vaccine. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. I don't give a shit what you're talking about, oh, my job forced me to or whatever. That's not forcing, right? You always have a choice. All of these things are choices.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an expert in oncology.
Okay.
Isn't there such thing as right to try legislation that already exists?
There is, but I don't know why. Like, for instance, it's the FDA's in the way.
But the FDA is currently run by Secretary Kennedy. So is he your enemy right now?
See, right now,
because then we're on the same team.
Well, but at the same time, we can also go back into Biden's administration where all the money was going into changing kids' genders.
All the money?
Well, a lot of it. A lot of that was, well, I don't know the dollar amount.
Speaking in absolutes.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Gender-affirming care does not change your gender. It changes your primary and secondary sexual characteristics to match your gender identity, which is inborn, born with it. I'm definitely not going to go on a tangent on trans
on that stuff,
because it is the biggest quagmire, and these fucking MAGA types will never learn anything. They'll never learn anything. It's just a fucking brick wall. It's absolutely insane. And Biden was spending all the money to change the genders. Jesus fucking Christ! Like, just how did it get this way? Why are millions of people this hopeless? I just don't know how it happened.
It's always been like that, bro.
Yeah,
and is that important?
I think that the whole industry has failed us, and I can't even go back into.
They're retard maxing before retard maxing was a thing.
If we're gonna stick on Kennedy, I like that for the first time I found out how dangerous this water bottle I'm drinking out of is. I like for the fact that they're taking these dyes out of food. I like that they just passed that where
the ice bomb right under.
Drug prices where we end up paying.
So we already knew that plastics dissolve at an extremely slow rate, so you didn't need Kennedy to tell you that. He's definitely not taking any dyes out of the food. That's not happening, and there's virtually no evidence that any of them are harmful in the first place. There's like a speck of data on Red 40. Maybe
Red 40, sunset yellow.
But it's a wild goose chase. I'm sorry. Sorry to
These
tell
are
you.
all good things.
Paying
These
the
are all
same
good
amount
things.
as
What am I
people
supposed to
from
do?
all over
Lock
the
it
world.
all up.
These are things I like. I don't think that I've ever seen a perfect HHS secretary.
I got tons of
and I can
skeleton
agree that
shits.
there's things that Kennedy probably is doing that I don't agree with, but there's definitely the thing that I like about him is he's opening up other options where before I feel like everything was you must do it by this. And again, I would like to see the FDA broken. I've been
The options
trolling
cause
Dr. Soom
death.
nonstop to the point I've gotten in
Read
touch
Dr.
with him. But
Seuss
my husband's
nonstop.
starting chemo on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
And so there,
And
I
the
just
system-
barfed all over you.
No, that's... Look,
Yeah, you hate that before everything had to be done this way, the stupid science-y way, the way where people actually know facts.
They don't die.
And they know what's true. They know things about the human body and medicine. And I don't like that way. I don't like the smart, stupid Harvard way. I don't like the stuffy, elite ivory tower knowing things way. I like the bullshit way. I like the piece of shit frauds like RFK who spew pseudoscience that makes me feel special. I like the lying way that will definitely get tons of people killed. I like that we have options between reality and delusion, right? It used to be only reality. Now we have reality and delusion. It's way better. More options, guys.
look, you're the person that every time I make a video about, I think about. Every time I'm going to the hospital to work, you're the person I'm thinking about. Every time I fact check one of Secretary Kennedy's claims, you're the person I think about. You're the person I want to get accurate information. Not information from Biden's secretary, not from President Trump's secretary. I don't care who's secretary. I want you to get the honest information so you can decide what's right for you and your husband. And currently, I don't feel like that's happening. And I'll explain why so you could decide if what you think I'm saying is bullshit or not. In 2024, when Secretary Kennedy was running for president, he was on stage and he talked about how GLP-1 medications, these Ozempics, Wegovys and such, paralyze your stomach. They do these terrible things to your body. They're poisoning our nation. In Europe, they're illegal. All of that is untrue or overblown. A year later, he's standing with President Trump, celebrating that Americans are having access to these medications. How can you believe what he's saying when every time he's flip-flopping about the truth to you? When in early 2000s, he's doing interviews about mercury. He says vaccines saved hundreds, millions of lives. And then now he's telling you they're a big problem and causing people death. How do you decide when he's telling the truth versus when he's not, when there's constant hypocrisy coming from him as an individual?
Well, I don't think that it's 100%. I think that there's good things and there's bad things with anybody that's in power.
I agree.
And for me, I honestly am not coming here just gung-ho. I want to learn from you. I think
That's
you are
amazing.
here
I
in good
appreciate it.
faith. I don't think that you're a bad man just trying to win the argument. And trust me, I've sat in this chair. Well, that's exactly what the person in the other seat wants to do. What I would like is to see freedom for you as a doctor. What I would like to see is freedom for me as a
I done
patient.
did it again.
And to be able
Somehow
to
survived.
pursue those avenues that are best. Again, as far as Ozempic, you know what?
Come here, drain the rocks.
I say cut down on the ice cream. I'm not 100% behind that whole Ozempic thing because I think it's amazing. I think
What
that
about for people who have diabetes?
well, I think that there's better ways for them to lose weight. My ex-son-in-law has diabetes and the bad kind, and yet he drinks alcohol. You know, that's probably worse for him than anything. But I do like what Kennedy's doing as far as
Wait, was that a new
not
shot?
The
censor-
dyes you mentioned.
the dyes,
Double shotgun's not that bad.
plastics in our food, getting the pesticides out of our
So
food,
let's
thing
talk
like
about the
that.
dyes, because I think that's an interesting point. You know, a lot of people talk about red dye number 40,
Right.
that there was some
Yellow,
research
sunset
showing
yellow.
that kids who overconsume it have higher rates of hyperactivity and potentially tying it to ADHD. We've heard that. So that research is real. It
Right.
does exist. It's shorter term, but it does exist. So I actually think removing these petroleum-based dyes is not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a plus side into Secretary Kennedy's agenda. However, the issues that you're talking about giving doctors a chance to be with their patients the way we're spending time together, is a systemic flaw. We don't get time with our patients. The difference between seeing a naturopath versus a primary care doctor is that the primary care doctor usually spends 5 to 10 minutes with you. And that's not because they don't like you or they don't care about you. It's the system.
They have like a
sucks for
jillion
them.
patients.
So can we get Secretary Kennedy to change the system?
Really quick, what I would like to see happen was you as a physician be able to reach across the aisle and work synergetically with other doctors that are specialists in other areas.
Sure.
For instance,
yeah, that's how it works, though. That's exactly.
The oncologist should work with the radiologist, who should be working with bioimmunity. Well, they're not allowed to work with the bioimmunity until he does radiation and chemo, which are going to destroy all of his good cells. So that's a problem.
Chemo does not destroy all your good cells.
Yeah, I mean, it does a lot of damage.
Radiation destroys cells indiscriminately. That's why we fucking laser.
Chemo does fuck your immune system though.
Chemotherapy does not destroy all your good cells.
No,
it is targeted for rapidly dividing cells, which tend to be tumor cells.
Yeah.
Also hair follicle cells, right? That's why you lose your hair and stuff like that. It's not just randomly killing every cell in your body. That would make it. That would be terrible.
You die, yeah.
So you don't know what chemotherapy is. You're talking about doctors can't talk to each other. Yes, they fucking do. You think oncologists don't talk to radiologists? What the fuck are you talking about? Like there's a team of specialists that work with the patient and they communicate with each other.
Yeah, they send each other all the fucking documents, information. That's why it's all documented. All your treatments are documented.
Like just petroleum, like it just makes like they use it like. There's petroleum in it. It's just a source of carbon, right? You need carbon from somewhere to build a molecule. This is just lost on people who don't understand basic synthetic chemistry. I don't remember what else. But yeah, it's like, look, here's the thing. Of all the insane shit RFK says, even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? Let's say Red 40 is slightly harmful, and we take it out. Great. I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna defend Red 40. What the fuck do I care? Take Red 40 out. I don't even care. Even with the razor thin evidence we have right now, take it out. I don't care. But number one, he's not trying to do that. He's not actively trying to do that. He's not actively trying to implement legislature to get rid of any of these substances. In fact, he's making it easier for PFAS to get it. He's not doing it. That's just a script. And second of all, I'm sorry, we're gonna like applaud. Oh my God, he got. Let's say he does it. He got Red 40 out. Wow. Oh, all these kids are dying of preventable diseases that were said to be eradicated because he spread all this paranoia about vaccines. That's a very strong net negative. Okay, so yeah, don't give a fuck about Red 40.
So
No.
as far as everything
Where's fucking Drain the Rocks? Who else is meant to die? Okay, they're all gonna come.
When my son was in 3rd grade,
Where's Drain the Rocks?
teacher didn't like that he was boring and hyperactive. She came to me in 3rd grade, put him on pills.
Yeah, that's rude. I'm sorry.
And I said
that
no.
shouldn't happen.
And I said no. But how many kids?
And I'm not saying that shouldn't happen because no children should be on the medication.
Yeah, but they're putting everybody on it.
I will. This is another point I will say.
Right.
We are sometimes too quick to start medications.
Right.
And I think the reason for this needs to be evaluated.
Right.
Part of it, we have less time with our patients, so therefore we have to just do what we can. Second, we also have patients that are very consumer-driven. Give me a pill to fix it, as opposed to making me do the work to fix it. I don't want to patient blame, but this is the reality of what happens. So how do we fix all of these big problems without creating disconnects by cutting research budget? Like if Secretary Kennedy
Well, I want to know where that money went because
it didn't go anywhere.
Well, a lot of this money though was going to insurance companies.
Got him.
The research dollars doesn't go to.
Well, I would. You've seen what happens in local politics. I see a lot of money laundering going on. I hate to say it. But
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, let's close with some baseless paranoia. Ignore everything Mike said, and let's just move on.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Good to meet you.
You as well. So talk to me. How do you feel about the sabotaging of the doctor-patient relationship?
I don't agree with it. I don't think that Maha's sabotaging the relationship. As a matter of fact, I think it's cultivating confidence in patients to be able to speak to their doctors because it's providing education in a way that has never been there before.
Now that the head of HHS is lying constantly and spreading pseudoscience and brainwashing people, now education is there in a way we've never had a head of HHS who's a fucking anti-vaxxer. That's what's unprecedented. We've never had a head of HHS that is completely insane and constantly spreading medical misinformation. That's what we've never had before. So you're not empowered, right? You just are clearly some lunatic that goes to the doctor and starts saying, well, Bobby said this, Bobby said that. And the doctor's like, one of these fucking lunatics. It has to be like, well, no, that's wrong. He's insane and no idea what he's talking about. Oh, well, I don't believe you. Okay, fine. What? Like, oh, you're like a big pharma doctor or something. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my God, how do you fucking time that?
And I know you were talking about research, and so you're a busy doctor. Do you have time to do research?
When you say do research, do you mean actually do clinical trials myself?
Follow all of the data.
Sure.
You do. So you, in addition to a week-long log of patients,
she doesn't believe
time to read all of the material and
yeah,
all
that's
the
literally his fucking job.
To be honest, sometimes I do it in the room with the patient.
Okay,
because I'm family medicine, so like a lot of different conditions come. So absolutely.
Well, you're very rare.
Well,
what?
I appreciate that, but let me ask you a
All
question
doctors.
so we can get off to perhaps a better talking point.
I love, like, she's basically insinuating that, like, most doctors are stupid and don't keep up to date with all the new research. You couldn't pass a middle school science quiz. Like, I love this, like, projection of just, like, oh, you know, they don't even try to, like, learn the new stuff. I get, like, as soon as she starts, she hasn't made an actual scientific claim yet, but I guarantee you that she has no fucking idea what she's talking about, like, severely. And she's trying to put it out there that, like, doctors don't know what's going on because they don't stay up to date on the latest thing. It's bananas.
Secretary Kennedy,
yes,
in the last few months went on a podcast and basically defamed all doctors in the United States by saying doctors are just interested in profit and keeping patients sick. Hearing that line as a patient yourself, do you feel
where the fuck is this old fart?
Is in your best interest? Is working in your best interest? And do you have more trust in your doctor after hearing that line?
So I have enormous respect for Bobby Kennedy. I feel like he's educated and informed and does the research on the data. And
he is specifically not educated or informed. He's not a fucking doctor. He's not a scientist or a doctor. He has no idea what he's talking about. Every time he opens his mouth about anything having to do with health or science or anything like that, he's completely fucking up.
We're fucking up. Focusing too much on the old man.
He's talking about where the fuck.
How about I want his teeth though? I want your teeth. I want your teeth around my neck, bro.
I'm sorry, what the fuck?
Oh no.
Where is his last publication? What journal was it in? What are you talking about, you insane woman?
He has worked on cases that he's become familiarized with medical data. So I believe that when he speaks, he comes from a place of informed knowledge. So I'm gonna
lucky that cat didn't explode.
So when I go to my doctor, typically my doctor, I don't have, thank goodness, I don't have a lot of health issues, but when I have, my doctor wants to move me to medication, which always makes me think that in med school, that doctors are trained to find a medicalized solution rather than an alternative solution that empowers my own immune system and my own body. And so when I go in to talk to my doctor,
oh my God, if you have a bacterial infection and my doctor is just like, oh, you need to take these antibiotics because I'm a stupid pharma shill trying to make all this money by prescribing you fucking $5 of antibiotics, that will be the only thing that cures this pathogen, that cures this pathogen. What are you talking about? That medicalizes? What are you saying? Doctors understand how the body works and how disease works, and they try to help you. He just asked you a very straightforward question about, do you agree with Bobby Kennedy's insane fucking claim, which I hadn't heard, by the way, that he said that all doctors want to keep you sick? All doctors want to keep you sick. Only trust me. Only listen to me. Good old Bobby Kennedy. I'm the only one you can trust. You can't listen to any doctor in the world. You can only trust me. That's how fucking cult leaders talk. Okay? You fell for it.
My doctor will look at me and be like, okay, you don't want any of that. And I'd be like, no, I want to have a different conversation. And Maha provides that because it's talking about removing dyes. And I'm also a parent. So for me, there's things that involve children that I so appreciate Maha presenting, because before there wasn't a choice. Doctors thought of parents and patients as kind of dumb.
I agree that 20, 30 years ago, that was absolutely
yes.
You are super dumb. And yet, I'm sure that doctors don't treat you like that. Like, oh my God, it's such a cult. It's such a cult. Like, you have these idiots who have no fucking idea about anything. And then Bobby comes along and says, no, but actually, you're smart. Actually, you know more than doctors. And morons like this go, oh, yeah, you're right. I think I do know more than doctors. I shouldn't have to take any medication ever. I should just have some kind of super magic spell that makes me better by all the magic that I can do because I'm super special and smarter than doctors. That makes sense. I'll worship you forever, Bobby. Thank you.
Yes. And it's still cool.
Yeah, because doctors are older, so that's true. I'd love for you if you can answer that question. Like by hearing Secretary Kennedy say that doctors are just interested in keeping you sick, does that improve your relationship with your doctor or not?
I would have to hear the context.
That's the context.
But I mean like the whole thing. Because one thing that I've experienced a lot with Bobby is that people get sound bites. And they don't hear the entire interview and the entire dialogue, and then they piecemeal it, and then they go, that man!
Yeah,
and
people do that with things.
Right.
No, they don't do that with him. We go through the entire fucking Maha report line by line and show that all of it's either it's AI generated, referencing studies that don't exist. People have scrutinized everything he said, and say it with all and do so with all of the context. So what are you talking about? What are we taking out of context when he says?
Does Maha make America healthy? Is it make America healthy again?
What are we taking out of context when he says that
RFK shit like MAGA?
When no, it fucking doesn't, and he had to retract it later to avoid a lawsuit, presumably from.
What's a way that he could have been saying that in a genuine way?
Well, in a genuine way, well, I think he was, I can't speak for him, but my experience of Bobby is that he is a genuine, compassionate, kind, caring human, and he takes his work very seriously, and his commitment to ending chronic health disease and making sure children are healthy and adults are healthy.
You're fucking delusional. He is a psychopath. He used to, not that it's the focal point of my big RFK video, but there's a section in it where I go over all this psychotic shit that he's done, sawing the head off of a whale, and then there's a bear
actually come in handy though. Infinitely fighting.
Just like the insane shit that he's done. He is a fucking psychopath. Okay? Ask his siblings, ask his cousins. He's been a douchebag since he was a child. He does not give a fuck about public health, and you think that he's making things safer for children when he is specifically murdering children. Kids dying of measles, kids dying of whooping cough. Get ready for a lot more of that shit, especially of him and Latipo and fucking, what's the Florida governor? DeSantis succeed in repealing vaccine mandates for schools. That is probably going to go through in early 2026, and children will start dying. And then what do we say? Oh my gosh, it must be from all the microplastics. It might be from, I mean, I don't want to say that because that could be actually a real threat. It could be from the chlorine. It might be from the, oh my gosh, I think that all the other, whatever, they'll make some shit up. They'll make some shit up to push it under the rug and continue promoting vaccine hesitancy. More and more kids will die. Like, what the fuck is it going to take for you people to see what this piece of shit really is? What is it going to take? It's like the same shit with Trump. He could shoot someone in the head in broad daylight. He said it himself on 5th Avenue. I could murder somebody in broad daylight and nobody will bat an eyelash. All the MAGA douchebags will
right as soon as a bunch of bosses spawn.
What the fuck is it going to take for you to see what RFK is? I'm at a loss. Help me out.
Very, very important. So, but if I heard that, I probably would have been like, I want to understand more about where he's coming from, because it doesn't line up for me that he would just generalize that all doctors are doing that. But in context,
oh my god, he blew up. No way. Boss blew up. Yeah, fuck.
Came up to me after the show and said that you're a liar and everything you say is untrue, that perhaps could be said in a nice way?
Well, I would probably think that maybe there's something going on.
Called you a bad mother?
I think about a lot of things.
But wouldn't that hurt?
It would make me think for a moment, like, do you know me? Do you know what I do? Do you know how I am? Do you know my professionalism?
Right. That's how I feel as a doctor when Secretary Kennedy says that to me. He says we're interested in keeping people sick for profit. I don't even take a salary to work as a doctor anymore. The YouTube stuff is so successful. I really am showing up for my patients pro bono because I want to help people. I'm here pro bono.
Right.
I flew here myself for free because I want to give you the best information. And you said Secretary Kennedy is well researched.
Yes.
He goes on the podiums and he says inaccuracies all the time. And look, everyone's allowed to make mistakes. I'm not about gotcha. I'm not that guy. But when you say back in the day, kids who had diabetes never existed. Now 1 in 3 kids have diabetes. 1 in 300 kids have diabetes. So like, how much do I as a YouTuber, have to fact check Secretary Kennedy, the Director of Health and Human Services, before he comes out and says, I messed up. I need to tell you the truth and I'm getting the numbers wrong so often. When does that happen?
That's a really good point. I don't know. I guess we'd have to go back also to during COVID when they made these really outrageous statements that weren't true. Either go back because
just deflect, right? Just blow right past that. Mike just told you that he's talking out of his ass, lying, spewing bullshit all the fucking time. Well, I don't know, but I guess COVID though. But we should talk about COVID. Can we talk about COVID? COVID was bad. Everybody lied during COVID. I don't want to talk about how Bobby's lying all the time. He's my fucking hero. Let's talk about COVID.
There have been mistakes, and if
I have multiple videos on my YouTube channel, including podcasts, where we talk about every mistake we made, I made during the pandemic. Because ultimately, it's about trying to figure out how to do better, not to score political points. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hi, listening to pleasure.
So, yes sir. So I think starting this off with actually some truth to what he said. So yeah, as of right, what Kennedy said. So the truth is that after the year 2000, doctors say that 1 in 3 children will actually develop diabetes in their lifetime. So there's actually so often a lot more truth to what Kennedy says than what you give him. And I know that you're not.
What the fuck are you talking about? 1 in 3 people are going to develop diabetes? No. Do a third of all the people you know have diabetes? Right? If that was said in 2000, all those kids are adults now. 1/3 of all people have diabetes. What the fuck are you talking about? Stop trying to defend the insane shit that Bobby says. Right? Bobby and Trump, all these people, they do the same thing with autism. They're like, it used to be 1 in a billion, and now it's 1 in 7. Like, what the? They're always lying. They're always lying. Always.
So he just said it inaccurately? You mean, like, because he said, this is a quote unquote, that currently 1 in 3 children have diabetes.
I mean, it could have been that maybe the wording was wrong, but the truth is that if you were born after the year 2000, 1 in 3 people are going to develop diabetes.
As a prediction.
Yes. And so I think so often what we can do with Kennedy is we can still paint him in bad faith, even if that's not our intention. And I think one of the things that you said actually was that Kennedy said that half of the people in China have diabetes, right? And I remember in this video you said, no, it's actually 13% of people. I'm like, total fact check. Well, the truth is that while 13% of people in China do have diabetes, the truth is that making up the rest of that 50% margin are actually people that right now already have pre-diabetes. And from 2005 to 2023, there has been a 50% increase in the number of people with diabetes in the country of China.
So what you're saying is he gets it wrong, but the intention is good?
Well, I mean, when you
are sort of right?
Sorry, when you're in the public eye for years and years and years and years, there's a good shot that you're going to misword something that says,
sure. Did he come out and correct himself when he did that?
Well, in many cases, he has come out and correct himself. I mean, the truth is...
What cases are
Okay, so...
The shotguns do need upgrades.
Specifically, the case in Tylenol. I mean, he came back and he said there is not enough scientific evidence to say that Tylenol causes autism.
I could replace the shotguns with something else.
Doesn't that concern you as a person who lives in the United States that there's a press conference? Yeah. There's a president, Health and Human Services Secretary, the director of CMS, Dr. Oz, and they're telling you, even Dr. McCarty, who runs FDA,
Dr.
Oz, weeknight shows on Fox, and says there's a causal relationship between Tylenol and autism. This is quote unquote, I'm not twisting words. This is what was said. And then 2 weeks later they go, nah, never mind. Doesn't that upset you in the same way that we flip-flopped back in COVID days? I'm curious why it changes.
So here's the thing you have to understand, and I know you know this, and the truth is that science is a constant practice, a constant thing, and so medicine specifically is also constant in itself. The thing is, if something is a fact, then it will be able to be refuted, or sorry, then it will stand no matter what. Whenever you
learn something new,
which is true. But if we have scientific facts established, and they are in fact true, then they will simply stand. And that's the thing. The thing that I appreciate about Kennedy is he understands that science at the highest levels is a constant debate. And so when you see a study come out that contradicts the status quo, to say that and to say, okay, Americans, we have found that, whatever, contrary to what some believe, specifically in the Tylenol situation, it's good that he presented that we found this, and then he actually retracted that 2 weeks later, I believe.
No, he just fudged everything to make a bullshit claim to make Trump look good, and then he rescinded it to avoid a lawsuit. I'm sorry, what you're saying is fucking insane.
Exactly what I wanted.
He does not give a shit about scientific evidence. He does not give a shit about any of it. He goes around spewing crap that has been long debunked, like vaccines cause autism. CDC official memo. Vaccines cause autism. No, they fucking don't. No, they fucking don't. There's a mountain of evidence that proves, whatever. There's a mountain of evidence that demonstrates absolutely zero link between any vaccine and autism, and he still says that shit. He still says it.
Oh, God.
He does not care about scientific research. He does not care about giving you factual information. Get it through your skull.
So I think that it's very, very important to say, if we do find something and there's scientific evidence for something that does go against the grain, to come out there and say that you have that evidence.
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting what you're pointing out. I would say a year before...
Another bearded on? Give me a break.
I had a video lined up to talk about the relationship between Tylenol and autism and those words. So like I literally was making a video on that subject.
Realism right next to a fucking
just
portal.
Because of production delays and such, we didn't get a chance to put it out. So in the medical community, we were already understanding that there is a potential tie there, an association. We knew that there wasn't a causal link to prove.
Where's the eye?
Right, because it's not even widely agreed as of today.
I see ya.
Exactly.
Right, but then again, I think we should constantly be looking at these things a little bit.
But we are.
Well, there's a problem. Here's 70%.
Like the research he's quoting wasn't done the week he presented it. Do you know why it was presented this September when he presented it?
So the research wasn't done.
I should go with the fucking goo boost. Oh my god! I just bounced off of Slamy's face.
So you said that there's multiple.
In the rocks.
So there's multiple of them.
Yeah.
So I think the reason he probably shared it is because there are multiple of them.
Where is Kappa? Oh, Kappa King. Oh, Kappa Egg. Kappa King.
No, you want me to be honest and tell you why he shared it? Because at the beginning of his time,
I didn't have that already?
He promised that by September we'd find the cause of autism. And
Wow,
because
I
he
already
did
had
not
that.
find it, because we've been looking for, we want to help people. I want to find the cause of autism. I'm being honest with you. I wish I could help my patients. No, but I really want to be, I want to show you how passionate I am, because when Secretary Kennedy raises his voice, people see his passion.
Okay.
And we in healthcare don't have the same passion. So I want to show you my passion. We want to find it, and we haven't found it. And when he presents to you a fake link because he knows it doesn't exist, why are you not mad at him? Like we are mad at him.
Sir,
Answer that question.
I don't know how...
Mike, ooh, he's turning it on a little bit. I like this.
Yeah.
Stay here. Stay in
Wanna
this
see some
place,
Mike
You
passion.
didn't let him change the topic. You cornered him. I want to hear the response here.
How you can say that today everyday Americans should be trusting research that's put out, because there was a recent study that was done that said 70% of studies that are put out have a conflict of interest, the majority of which are for undisclosed amounts, and the average amount that is known is $27,000 per
So should we throw out all research? Why are you trusting? Do you know if there's a conflict of interest with
70%?
I'm not arguing with you. I agree conflict of
Flip
research.
the switch so fast and it's like,
But I agree with you. No, I'm intense because I'm
glad we agree on that.
Not because I'm mad at you.
So much.
Yeah, he's trying to...
What's known as when you come in and obviously directly receive money from Big Pharma.
I'm passionate about the patient.
You can't, it's kickbacks and it's also defunding.
Well, you can get paid to speak at conferences, promote certain medications. That's absolutely
right. And then it's shown that the majority in family practice and cardiology, every specialty, the majority of physicians have received conflict of interest payments. They've been paid off by Big Pharma.
That guy must have been playing for a week.
I didn't know that.
He got 1 billion points. Unless he had another plus 100% modifier or his one.
Yes, disclose. Right. He just didn't have
They can't do it. That
But the thing is that
Do you know what that was?
something as little as $20 actually can change the
You technically sit here, tape your buttons down, you get enough damage.
I agree. So look, it needs to be disclosed. Money can create conflict. Agree with you totally. I don't disagree with the sentence you said.
So should we remove it?
Remove what?
So should we not allow conflict of interest?
Let me just catch up on your point. I agree that conflict of interest can create bias. I agree that pharmaceutical companies pay doctors and it can bias.
They're on the same team.
Yes.
Good.
Does Secretary Kennedy make money? Has he been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by law firms to pursue vaccine claims? Why does that not bias?
These are lawsuits that he himself has done before.
Why doesn't it bias him? Why, when he gets paid by Children's Health Defense, why does that not bias him? Why are you looking at bias only in one direction?
So you kind of have.
Ooh, all right, I like this new direction for Mike here. I really hope he stays here. RFK making millions of dollars doing what he does with PhD. Why doesn't that bias him? Right? Like, he's right. Why are you only looking at wonder? I mean, it's like the problem is that there's no room for good faith discussion about what, like, you can point out corruption, right? You can point out, okay, this pharmaceutical company paid these doctors to promote this this medication off-label, right? They said, like, okay, this is for this, but it might help a little bit for these, so we'll give you some money to prescribe it for this other stuff too. It's like, yeah, it's unethical. You can say that that's corruption. It's nowhere near as bad as promoting vaccine hesitancy that makes kids die. So I'm sorry, the corruption from Bobby and his ilk is 10 times worse than the corruption that does actually exist between pharma and the health industry. But yeah, it's just like these people get, like, it's just, they give Bobby a pass on everything. They give Trump a pass on everything. Like, Trump is a pedophile rapist, right? This is just globally known at this point. And all of the MAGA people that are just like, pedophile, Democrat, pedophile ring, a sex trafficking ring under a pizza place, with the Hillary Clinton, blah, blah, blah. Pedophile is the worst thing you can be. Pedophile rapist. You follow a fucking pedophile rapist, right? They just endlessly excuse their fucking cult leader heroes. Bobby Kennedy is a maniac who makes money off of peddling disinformation. He's filthy rich from doing it. So you're gonna whine about doctors. Okay, maybe a doctor made, let's say a doctor made 20 grand in filthy money. Okay, all right, that's yeah, that's not good. Shouldn't have done it. How about Bobby? How about Bobby's turn? Let's talk about all of the money he makes. Who has a greater net worth, Bobby Kennedy or the average?
Why didn't they kill Bobby? Why did they kill all his other family members that wanted to help the people, but they didn't kill Bobby?
I'm asking why you're choosing to say bias is bad here but not here. I'm agreeing with
Kennedy
your
curse.
Why are you disagreeing with the bias with him receiving? Do you know how much money
that a lot of their family members died.
No, you won't know because he's not a doctor. He doesn't have to disclose it.
What does this have to do with him receiving?
Because the reason you know doctors do it is because we disclose it to try and reduce bias. He doesn't have to. Huberman does ads. You know who Andrew Huberman
Absolutely.
is? A very popular doctor.
Sir.
He does ads for athletic greens all the time. Do you know how much he gets paid? No, he doesn't have to disclose it. Isn't there bias there?
So there's a difference between an influencer and a physician
He's not
that is
an
direct.
influencer.
I'm talking about Andrew. Andrew is an influencer, right? Then somebody that's your family practice doctor that's prescribing.
What about the Secretary of Health and Human Services?
So he's
getting money. How is that
he
impacting
gotten money in the past? He doesn't take payments anymore. He can't. And
you know who's taking payments on his behalf?
You're probably gonna say his wife.
His son.
Okay, well, here's the thing about that.
But isn't this all a problem
Most
for
of
you?
these are cases that he himself has fought, he himself has gotten into the court, and he himself has won, and then he receives payments from that.
Don't you feel that you're being unfair by saying bias on one side but not bias on the other side when it's the same scenario?
Look, the thing is that it's two different things, right? You're talking about every doctor in America, and 70% of them are paid off, versus this guy who's been winning lawsuits, and this is mainly because he found something in the environment and then it gets taken out, specifically chemicals or whatever it is.
No, none of that is true. First of all, he's not winning lawsuits. He's the guy. He's the fucking like, he gets finder's fees. That's all. He doesn't try the cases. He's not winning lawsuits. And second of all of them are like, they're all lawsuits that are won on like a procedural thing. I go over all this shit in my RFK video. Like, it's never like, oh, they put the poison thing in the thing, and then they did the lawsuit, and then they had to take out the poison thing. Yeah, it's never like that. It's always some fucking organizational thing or something. And sorry, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, he's doing the thing. He's pretending that like every single doctor is bought off by big pharma. You can't trust any doctor. What are you talking about, man? Just like, have you ever been to a doctor? Like, it's okay to be like, I had a bad experience with a doctor, or this one doctor is a piece of shit. But it's like, to paint with this broad brush of just like all doctors are bad and evil and paid off by big pharma. How, like, you sound like a fucking flat earther. That's how dumb you sound. I'm sorry.
So I think these are two different things. And I think in today's America, we're in a moment where we need reform rather than just going along. So I think we agree on so much.
We're out of time. I appreciate it. Thank you. They believe that he should be the president because they believe that his agenda of mass deportations were going to help make America safe.
So I asked name one piece of evidence in the case that you dispute, and you couldn't do so.
I just answered the question. You just don't like how I answered the question. Sorry about that.
So you didn't answer the question. You didn't provide a specific example. It sounds like the American people didn't do research on the case, yet they still were willing to vote for Donald Trump.
Welcome to Face Off, where two people debate four plays. One clock, no interruptions.
My next surrounding claim is that Big Pharma is more trustworthy than Big Supplement. Hello? Love the suit.
Thank you so much. Yep. It's a pleasure to be with you. I just wanted to say it's really unfortunate that you're feeling that the Maha movement is getting in the way of the relationship you're having with your patients. I think what we really need to be talking about is public trust. And the public is losing trust in our government because it is being captured by special interests like Big Pharma. And I say that because, like FDA, is funded about 50% more from fees that are paid to it by the very drug companies that they are.
Because the government won't subsidize that anymore, so the drug companies have to pay for the FDA to approve their drugs and to do so more quickly. I can't believe we're going to, like, I thought we were going, like the government has been captured by special interests. Yeah, no shit. It's been captured by the fucking MAGA movement and putting RFK in there, Jay Bhattacharya, Marty McCary. All these people are gigantic pieces of shit who are ruining every federal institution that has anything to do with public health. But no, you're going to whine about pharma. We're going to talk about pharma. Oh my God, pharma pays money to get their drugs approved, right? To make so that to ensure that the drugs are safe for consumption. What a scandal!
So there's a little bit of a conflict of interest there. And also, Big Pharma spends about $20 billion a year in advertising, $7 billion of which is direct to consumer. And we see all of these ads on TV. You know the ones we're talking about. They're going through fields and they're happy and singing songs.
Us in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, and yeah, that's how ads work, dude. Have you seen an advertisement for a fucking deodorant or a shampoo or exercise tapes or anything like that? That's called fucking advertising. Oh my God, the ad is manipulative. That's what advertising is. Okay, fine. Fucking get rid of direct-to-consumer advertising from pharma. I don't fucking care. But you're like, to take that and go like, oh my God, the ad is so blah blah blah. Is the drug safe? Do you want to talk about drug safety and efficacy? Then talk about that. Don't whine about ads, okay? Fucking ads, big deal. Take them out. I don't give a shit. We're talking about the product itself. Do you have something to say about that? I know you don't.
At the end, really, really quickly, it's all about like, it could be an antidepressant medication. And at the end, it's like really, really fast. It may cause explosive diarrhea, spontaneous combustion, and even suicidal thoughts, you know? Big Pharma, like any special interest, has captured our government. And when it's captured our government on so many levels, not just the three-letter agencies, but it's out in the open how much they're giving to our electeds. And so they are literally putting
What's the alternative,
profits of big pharma over people and our health.
Interesting. There's parts of that I agree with and parts that I disagree with. If you'd like to hear what I agree with is that pharmaceutical companies are absolutely this is a for-profit system, it's a capitalist nation. In fact, if you look at our food supply, it's primarily focused on profits instead of trying to keep us healthy. That's pretty much always been the case within the last 50 years. When it comes to pharma versus supplements, which is kind of what we were discussing here, because some people say, I don't want to take a pharmaceutical, I'd rather go the natural. That is said a lot in terms of it. And I think that there's two issues with it. One is that there's this natural fallacy, that just because something is natural means it's safe, and just because something is for profit,
it's a little dangerous.
And that's weird to me because things that are natural can be absolutely dangerous. So cyanide, arsenic, these are natural, they're absolutely dangerous.
Absolutely.
And things that are for profit, like supplement companies, can be sometimes beneficial. Like if someone has a vitamin D deficiency, I would absolutely tell them to take a vitamin D supplement. The issue is, do you know how big the pharmaceutical industry is in the United States for billions of dollars? If you don't, just say no.
How many billions of dollars they make?
Yeah.
I don't know.
$600 billion. Crazy stuff, right? Do you know how big the Global Wellness Institute says the wellness industry is in the U.S.?
It's like 2 or 3 trillion. It's bigger. I don't know, right? But that's a scary fact. I'll wait for confirmation. But the idea, like all health is bigger than pharma in terms of profits. And the problem is that shit ain't regulated at all. Those of you who watch my vaccine debate with Steve Kirsch, remember how he's blind in one eye now because of the fucking nattokinase supplement from Peter McCullough? Yeah, this shit ain't tested. It's dangerous. These people whine about pharma. You should be concerned about all health. That's
probably bigger than that.
So why are you only interested in conflicts of interest when the supplement wellness industry is 3-4x rate at that level? So I'm just curious.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I don't disagree that either. I think, again, going back to my point about eroding public trust, I think what's happening is with what I know about big pharma is that they often have board members that sit on boards of the big media like Fox and CNN, but they also sit on the board of the big pharma. And so it's that we're worried about because those things are really causing more complications. Like you're taking one big pharmaceutical pill and it's causing 5 other problems and it becomes a sick care system.
What? Tell me the pill.
Sick care system instead of health care? Wow, what a
like the size of the pill is the problem to you? And what are the five things that it's causing?
Oh,
that makes sure you don't die, but it causes
got a bunch of health shit.
Runny stool or something like what do you like?
If I could get at least to 100 million,
what's the problem?
I get at least close to. Yeah, 1/10 of a billion points.
Non-FDA approved drugs, and I'm choosing that. But I'm being told by my doctors who are also pharma to push so it's more of a choice for. I mean, when you go to a doctor and you're trying
the only thing I'm worried about now with the flow that I have is this might turn into a game where I have to pause it.
It's not bamboozled, they're just fucking doctors, and they know what's wrong with you and what will help. Okay?
You feel like that's your only option because we're kind of being programmed that we have to go in that direction.
What are the words that you see?
Leave something good.
Sleeping, health, energy. What proof do they have to submit in order to sell their Me and you, right now, can take whatever supplement we want.
Yeah, it's our choice.
Bottle it up right here. No. Bottle it up right here. On this table. In capsules. Market it. Put it in a pharmacy. It sells well, especially if you have lots of followers. And make millions of dollars.
Sure you could, but it's still my personal choice as a consumer, and I think it goes back to...
And it's still your personal choice to take pharmaceuticals. No one's forcing you to take pharmaceuticals.
It's
the same argument even on both sides.
To take medication that an educated doctor prescribes me that has been FDA approved, shown to be safe, safe, shown to actually have
efficacy. You know what you mean.
Shown to have efficacy for the thing that it is indicated for, right? Has gone through all the appropriate channels. You have a choice between that and some bullshit supplemented that has not been tested, definitely does not, almost certainly doesn't do anything. Yes, you do have that choice. Why do you not see the point that Mike is trying to make here, buddy? Use your noggin.
Yes, absolutely, that's true.
But pharmaceuticals at least have to submit something to prove that they work, that they have some safety profile. But what me and you created today, no one has to prove it. And they also have had instances where they've led people to have liver failure, death. They've been sued by the FDA.
Spawning there.
There's been threatening letters. Consumer Labs goes and tests what's in these supplements and finds out what's on the labels not actually in the pill. How do you have an interest?
Well, I don't think the doctors are pushing that. If I go to my doctor, they're not pushing all those supplements.
Yeah, because they're not fucking frauds. They're doctors that know what they're doing. Like, what are you not getting? What are you not getting, Suit?
Yeah, the influencer doctor. Don't you think that's a bigger problem when it's $2 trillion versus $600 billion? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hello, pleasure.
I'm Heidi.
Nice to meet you, Heidi.
Nice to meet you. So, we're talking supplements.
Supplements versus sponsor. What do you got?
Okay, what I heard in the last debate is that you feel like doctors don't have the responsibility to teach their patients about the supplement. Like if I went to the doctor and I said, hey, I heard that magnesium can really help you with cramps, you know? And the doctor would educate me on that, right? Especially if I asked a question.
Sure,
But if I went into the doctor and said, listen, I am suffering from these leg cramps that were excruciating. I'm screaming into the air at night and my neighbors are scared of me. What can I do? Well, I have both, but, you know, what do I do? What's your first go-to? Are you going to go towards the pharmaceutical in it, you know, or are you going to hit, well, maybe magnesium, which it has.
I will present the correct diagnosis pathway to first of all make sure that is the condition they have. Because a lot of times the internet guides patients to believe that they have certain conditions that they don't.
Yeah, also, like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like if somebody went in there with scurvy, and you're thinking that the doctor wouldn't say, holy shit, you need some fucking vitamin C, or you're gonna die of scurvy. Go to CVS, get some vitamin C supplements, or go get a bunch of oranges or lemons and drink that juice, right? Get some fucking vitamin C, you're gonna die of scurvy. It's like, what are you imagining that, like, doctors are like, no, we have to only prescribe the drug that costs blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter what's wrong with the patient. Like, doctors know all this shit. Like, they know what, like, if magnesium has some efficacy in some realm, they will know that, right? They're doctors. They know, you know. What are you talking about?
Well, cramps are pretty self-explanatory.
Well, meaning not the symptom.
Right.
Your symptom is your symptom. I'm no expert in that. It's your body.
Yeah.
So the symptom is real. The question is, what is the diagnosis that's leading for that symptom to happen? Because some functional medicine doctors tend to take this approach where they say, we look at the root cause where your doctor tells you. Well, I don't know. I was trained in medical school to always look for the root cause and not just put a band on something because I actually want to help you. So I wouldn't necessarily look to treating your symptom instantly. I would first start an investigative path to figure out why you have said symptom. For restless leg syndrome, one of these lab values that's oftentimes not checked that correlates with restless leg syndrome is anemia. And sometimes supplementing iron in those patients who are anemic could be beneficial to them. And guess what? That's an absolute supplement that can help in those situations. But better yet, here's what a good doctor should do. A good doctor should present the options if there's a pharmaceutical one, if there's a natural one, and ask which one resonates with you.
Well, then why are doctors and big supplement fighting with each other? Why are they against each other? Why shouldn't they work together?
Because supplement peddlers are pseudoscientific drifting assholes that want you to distrust your doctor and buy their shit instead of getting real treatment. Is that a real question?
Solution. Here's what happens. If certain supplements start becoming very well proven in research that they work, they just become regular medicine, and we don't even think about it. Like if someone has a vitamin D deficiency or an iron deficiency, no one thinks about a doctor prescribing iron or vitamin D, but we do that. In fact, there are some rare indications where we use prescription-grade omega-3 medications. So we absolutely do prescribe it. Why we go to war with the supplement, especially me on my YouTube channel, is because I feel when our healthcare system screws you over and you're hurt because you were misdiagnosed, not listened to, written off, it sure happens.
Happens.
They go to you and they pretend like they care to sell you something that is potentially unproven or exaggerated.
The same thing? Do you just automatically assume all doctors care? Because some doctors get into it just for the money.
I think that absolutely can happen. I think it's impossible to judge intention on anything like that. But I think the war, just to answer your question.
But look, even if you have like a selfish doctor that like doesn't care as much as other doctors and he's just kind of going through the motions with a paycheck, they're still not doing what these piece of shit supplement peddlers are doing by saying, here, take this thing that definitely won't work and will just cause you to fall into a much more serious health condition that you maybe won't be able to get out of. Like the malice of the fucking supplement peddlers is so much greater than even some like egotistical doctor that's just like kind of like, all right, well, this is what you got, so you should probably take this, you know, and isn't like being as thoughtful, you know what I mean? Like, sure, like you can totally be like, this doctor over here is not very good, and cite all the reasons why, and there was oversight, and they didn't catch this thing, and they didn't tell me about this. You should always get a second opinion if you're in a very serious, if you have a very serious condition, and you're having serious problems. You definitely should see more than one doctor and get more opinions. That's totally fine, and you can get recommendations. And like, oh, everyone says this doctor's good. Totally fine. There's a variable, degree of quality with doctors. But I'm sorry. I like that Mike is like really pushing this angle of like, do you not see how full of shit the fucking alt health industry is? That it's 10 times more dangerous, 10 times more corrupt, 10 times more everything than whatever the fuck you're whining about with Big Pharma. And also this other shit he's saying, it's just like, what do you like? Oh, well, a doctor would never prescribe magnesium. Yes, he fucking would if it helps you with something. He just listed all, vitamin D, all these different vitamins and shit that you can totally just get at CVS in a bottle. A doctor might be, because a doctor understands how the human body works, you go in there with a symptom and they go, well, this is being caused because of a deficiency in this thing, and you just go pick whichever one you want, right? Go to the store and get your supplement, your iron supplement, right? Because you're anemic, you need iron. Take an iron supplement. Doctors do that, right? They fucking understand shit.
Is that we want people to tell the truth about their supplement, about their pharmaceutical medication. In fact, there's been lawsuits that have been settled with the pharma industry in the 2010s for $3 billion by GSK. Do you know what that lawsuit was about? Improper branding of the two medications, Paxil and Wellbutrin. These two medications were improperly branded, and pharmaceutical companies were held liable.
Okay.
When do the supplement companies get held liable when they say you'll be faster, stronger, better, whatever it is?
You've been voted out. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
I had it there.
You what?
Back again.
Hello, sir. Good to see you.
Okay, so I want to point out something that you did. 600 million to 2 trillion. Correct. You stated that the 600 million was the size of the industry in the United States. Compared that to a global number.
No, the global number is 4 trillion. 2 trillion is the U.S. number. If I said it wrong,
Okay, all right. So I was just going to call you out. The other thing I would like to ask, though, is what is the operational definition? I'm assuming that that's coming from a research article.
Global wellness.
Okay, global wellness institute. What I'm asking you is what is the operational definition? The reason why I'm asking that is because I would bet you dollars to donuts that when they came to defining what a wellness and supplement company is, they threw this wide sweeping net in order to inflate the number. Because when I did the research, it said that the supplement industry in the United States was 10% of what the pharmaceutical industry was. The other thing, said is
because the wellness industry isn't just driven by supplements.
But your prompt was big supplement, so it's big wellness or big supplement?
Big supplement works in tangent with big supplement. Every time you see a wellness influencer, they're not just selling you supplements. They're selling you their courses, they're selling you their get well schemes, the miraculous fixes for whatever is ailing you. And this idea of capturing too many things all at once. When we say that their chronic diseases are significantly higher in children, I said that earlier. In the United States, kids are sicker than they used to.
Oh yeah, I said that. Sicker. Yeah, absolutely.
Higher rates of chronic health.
Yes.
Well, part of that is because there are more conditions that are now being counted in that scenario. And if you look at children's mortality, children actively dying per 100,000, actually significantly down over the last 30 years.
So who created the opioid epidemic? Big Pharma or Big Wellness? And how were they held accountable? Hundreds of thousands of people had died. They had to give up $7 billion. I spent 7 years of my life peddling drugs. My impact on people's lives was all compared to what they did. And you're telling me that they were held accountable? That is absolutely utterly disgusting. So then my
go to jail for stealing opioids? I'm trying to piece this together. Look, does pharma give a shit that people get addicted to opioids? No, they don't. Are they responsible for opioid addiction? No, they're not. Painkillers are important medications. Anybody who has had very serious procedures, right, just painkillers are important drugs. Totally sucks that people get addicted to them. It's a societal problem. It's not all on Big Pharma. This is insane. People get addicted to alcohol. Are we going to blame Jack Daniels? People get addicted to gambling. Are we going to go tear down the casinos? People have there are people with addicted personalities that get addicted to things. That's life. I'm sorry.
Question is, just like what you asked this gentleman, if you're over here saying, hey, we need to light a fire, we need to hold Big Supplement accountable, then my question is, are you also investing equal energy in your own time to saying, we need to hold Big Pharma accountable? Absolutely. In what way?
In every way. Anytime they say something that's inaccurate, I call balls and strikes.
With supplement, with doctors too? With pharmaceutical companies?
With doctors, with pharmaceutical companies. You just called out the opioid thing that you said, what was their punishment? You said
they gave up $7 billion.
I don't think that's enough. I think that there should be harsher punishments for those executives that were making
Did you make YouTube videos?
Of course, we talk about it all the time.
I don't know enough about your YouTube channel. If you did,
it's not even about it. It's
yeah.
a bigger issue, but it's about trying to figure out what the truth is by calling balls and strikes fairly. So if we do something wrong in the healthcare industry, wrong, I will call it out. And medicine wants to call it out. There's definitely special interest groups that need to be held accountable. But if you're going to do it sloppily, like how I believe Secretary Kennedy's doing it, you're actually going to have more bad actors. He likes transparency, right? He said he wanted to run on radical transparency. Can I tell you one thing that he did that's actually going to make things much less transparent? Every time HHS enacts a new policy since 1946, they had a period of waiting for public comment, for people who are stakeholders to talk about how this policy will impact them. Guess what Secretary Kennedy ended this year for the first time since 1946?
Do you know why he did it?
Yes.
Why?
I can quote you word for word why he did it.
Okay, so my understanding
No, I'm going to read it to you. It's not needed, and it's not very effective.
Okay, but
this is his quote.
The reason why he said that is because the industries were using that process to actually interfere with things. And that
public comment.
Oh, come on now. They can manipulate anything they want. The whole point of what he's doing in
they can manipulate anything they want. They're magic. How infantile. Like Mike just that was a dope little moment right there. That Mike just said like, hey, everything you think RFK stands for, here is a crystal clear demonstration that he is the fucking polar opposite of that. He has brainwashed you into believing that he's this thing that he projects when he's the fucking opposite. And this is oh, he said that they could blah blah blah. They just fall all over themselves to make excuses for the shit that he does, and Trump and everybody else. Like this is the real mind virus. There's no woke mind virus. This is the mind virus that has infected all 15 of these people, where they will just throw out this shit and then never hold accountable their cult leader. They will fall all over themselves to make any excuse imaginable for the shit that they do that is antithetical to what they're pretending to represent. Trump says, I'm gonna drain the swamp, turns the White House into the fucking Everglades, right? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody in the MAGA base is like, hey, wait a minute, he's kind of doing the opposite of what he said he's gonna do. It's fucking unreal.
HHS is he's saying, here's how corporate capture is taking place, and here's how we get rid of it. That's all he's trying to do. If you look at what he did with like the FDA, he was saying things weren't centralized, they were ineffective, we don't need this much money, get rid of it. He's saying here's how the revolving door happens, on and on and on, all these.
It's so adorable that you believe him. This is in effect, like, just like Elon Musk and Doge, right? We're gonna go in there because there's all this wasteful spending, and I'm gonna open up the hood and I'm gonna rummage around and any institution that has any ability to regulate me, all of these institutions that are investigating me for all of my fraudulence, get rid of them, get rid of them. It's all fucking oligarchs doing whatever the fuck they want, making people less safe, getting rid of all of the safeguards, protecting people from private interests, and you just fall for it, right? You're talking
Tell me
about
of
special
1,000
interests.
megabits per second or 1 gigabit speed.
What the special interests are that are behind fucking MAGA and everyone in his cabinet. You have a climate change denier as head of EPA. These are the special interests. Everything that Bobby Kennedy, all of these people, Jay Bhattacharya, Marty McCary, they are propped up by special interests. You are whining about special interests while championing the guy who is the product of special interests. Like, the fucking reversal of reality is bananas. I can't handle it.
Things. So even if you don't like Secretary Kennedy in and of itself, you do agree with some of the things that he's.
I don't even go as far as saying I don't like it.
Okay.
I just think that when you cut $3.8 billion from HIV, maternal health research, ALS, when you cut the funding for mRNA vaccines that in the future can perhaps help treat one of our family members having pancreatic cancer, prevent them from having pancreatic cancer, I think that's not someone I want in charge of HIV.
Okay, but we just went over it and everybody focuses on their lifestyle. It is true.
If you go to the gym and you eat right, you will be immune to pancreatic cancer. So I have no fucking idea what cancer is, as I've already demonstrated. Like, this motherfucker thinks that exercising and eating right makes it so that you can never get any ailment of any kind ever. How fucking dumb is this guy? It's true.
Not everything in health is a lifestyle change. A lot of it is.
If your VO2 max is in the upper 2 percentile for your age group, your risk for all-cause mortality is next to nothing. It literally doesn't matter. I'm not saying that they don't die, but they don't die from chronic disease. Ultimately, what it comes down to.
But do you believe in genetic diseases?
So genes have to be activated. The bad genes are activated by oxidative stress. Literally all disease is related to mitochondrial dysfunction. Okay.
Secretary he can diagnose.
Which is why VO2 max is so powerful. You are judging the respiratory exchange rate.
This motherfucker has no idea what mitochondria even are. The bad genes, gene activation. You don't understand genetics at a 9th grade level. You don't know what a gene is. You don't know how transcription and translation work. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Oh my god. Cancer is you can get cancer from fucking random mutation, from replicative error. You can get cancer just because. You can get it from just random chance. That's it. That's completely endogenous replicative error. Then mutagens, right? And when I say mutagens, I'm not talking about even necessarily like carcinogens in food or something like that. I'm talking about UV light, right? There's just you cannot escape mutagens. We are surrounded by them. You have radioactive nuclides decaying in every cell of your body at all times that can let off high energy particles.
What you do about it?
That can damage DNA and that can cause cancer. Everything on a long enough timeline would get cancer. Every human being, every animal, if that did not die from something else on a long enough timeline would get cancer, because you cannot retain the fidelity of the genome indefinitely. Every time you get replication in cell division, there are going to be errors. It's only a matter of time before there's mutations in a proto-oncogene that is all this shit, right? It's just a thing that happens in life. Cancer is a thing that just happens. You will get it if you live long enough. That's why so many old people die of cancer. They didn't die of something else. Eventually, you get fucking cancer. Mitochondria, Jesus Christ, man.
Which is telling you if your body is using fat for substrate or if it's using sugar for substrate, you are then judging the lactate threshold. And if you use more fat for energy and your lactate threshold is further off, there is less oxidative stress in your body, which does not damage genes, which means that your likelihood for cancer and all-cause mortality is next to nothing.
But it's not true.
It is true.
It's not true.
So then you're telling me that Dr. Attia is full of shit? Dr. Attia.
I don't think Dr. Attia would agree with you.
I don't know who the fuck that is, but everything you like, I fucking hate gym bros, dude. Like, these fucking meatheads that are just like, oh man, like take this, take that, do this, do that, you'll never die, you'll never get cancer, nothing bad can ever happen to you. How fucking delusional do you have to be? Like, I get it that you don't want to die. I get it that you're afraid of dying. We all are. I'm fucking terrified of dying. That doesn't mean that we lure ourselves into this fucking alternate reality where it's like, if you just do this, oh, you'll never get, nothing bad will ever happen. Like, all-cause mortality drops to zero. What the fuck are you talking about? Have a healthy lifestyle. Reduce risk of, like, heart disease and diabetes and all these things. Fucking great. Exercise, do all that shit. But also, learn what cancer is, man. Like, learn what cancer is at a high school level. I'm fucking begging you.
I think he would say VO2 max, focusing on that, will decrease someone's likelihood of dying from heart disease. It will improve biomarkers.
He's literally said it. Your risk is next to nothing. The whole point is that the current system that you are supporting, all right, quality of life goes up. You know, we're in our 30s and our 40s, and it drastically starts to drop.
I don't think it should be.
Okay, it shouldn't be that way. It should just be flat, and then all of a sudden we should just go straight down.
Well, I don't think quality of life should ever just go flat. I mean,
well, no. I mean, like, so like my.
I actually think medicine. That's where it's up. I think medicine does this thing
where. Dr. Attia has talked about the chart where if you look at the drugs have made, it's at the very end of life. It doesn't actually extend life. If anything, if anything, there's like this much of a gap as far as improving quality of life at the end. So if you're really looking at the research, the drugs have done absolutely nothing. And the other thing that it does is it shields you.
Drugs have done absolutely nothing. Yeah, at the very end of life, when your body is fucking deteriorating, then some drug can have a marginal impact. Right? What are you talking about? Like, my wife has a congenital heart defect. It's called aortic stenosis, and she takes the medication. Every day of her life, she's had open heart surgery. She's gonna have to go in again to do another one. And if she lived anywhere prior to 1960, she'd be dead. She probably would have died in her 30s, and she definitely would have fucking died in childbirth, for sure. In fact, we had 2 miscarriages before realizing that, holy shit, she has to have the procedure done, or she could die trying to carry a child. So, this is what you're talking about. Like, when you're talking about, when you're going like medication, like some medication is, like, do you understand how many people died and from how many different things prior to modern medicine? People died all the fucking time. All the time. That's why the average life expectancy was 30. A lot of it had to do with pathogens, but there was all kinds of other shit that now we can open up somebody, like, we can, first of all, know without actually seeing their heart that one of their valves is bicuspid instead of tricuspid, and we can open up their chest and have them not die, go in there, take off the valve, put a different valve in there, sew it all back up, and they continue living, and then she could give birth to children and not die like anybody with that condition would have died prior to the age of 30 before the middle of the 20th century. Like, how do you not have a fucking appreciation for that? So what? She has to take a heart medication for her entire life. She's not dead, and she owes her life to these procedures and these medications.
Like,
and
there's a ground hot lava?
They're like that, and you're gonna talk about, oh, they're quality of life, blah, blah, blah. All these people would be fucking dead without so many aspects of modern medicine and the way that we can manipulate human physiology with a molecule, with a fucking molecule. We can design a molecule, you ingest it in a capsule or whatever, however the fuck you take it. It goes in there, it interacts with receptors or enzymes or whatever the fuck it does, manipulates some way that the human body operates and prevents someone from dying. How do you not have a fucking appreciation for that, for how unbelievable that is? It boils my blood that these people just write off all this shit. They don't have a shot in hell at understanding this crap. And it's like, nah, I preferred when most people died all the time from everything. That was better. Damn it.
You are incredibly sick.
Acute versus chronic. When it comes to acute, I will sit there and say, yes, we need doctors, yes, we need pharmaceuticals, okay? But when it comes to chronic disease...
born with type 1 diabetes, are you going to tell that person go VO2 max?
Why are they born with type 1 diabetes?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Tell me why.
Fucking genetics, dude. What do you mean you don't know?
Do you not maybe think that it's because the mother was unhealthy and that was constantly stressed that possibly...
It definitely raises the risk of it, but you don't think that people will need pharmaceuticals if they just think about their VO2
We
max?
have to make
Why
a
is it
choice.
an either or? Why can't it be both?
Okay, but here's the deal. We only have so much money, right?
Sure.
Do we have unlimited funds?
Well, we can separate it.
We need to make a decision. Are we going to continue to treat and enable, or are we going to prevent? Okay, if we start taking our money and we start putting it into prevention, things will change, things will happen.
You know what helps with prevention? Vaccines. You know what Secretary Kennedy doesn't support? Vaccines.
Okay, pause.
Thank you.
I can't believe we made it over an hour without bringing up vaccines. This is incredible, but I think we're probably going to get into it now. Let's see.
Love the colors.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Doctor.
absolutely. Pleasure.
I
Got some notes?
I do. It's not every day you get to sit down across from a doctor.
I mean, if your doctor's not spending time with you, I think you should look for a second opinion.
Perhaps so, but I'm a long ways away from you and you're unique. Okay, so my first
Let's
question.
use record this.
You spent years in med school. You spent years practicing. What has been your chief goal?
To keep patients as healthy,
happy, 100 million. I mean, we could easily go to 500 million.
I think that's what everyone's looking for from the medical industry.
We're gonna save. We're gonna save and see. I'm not gonna save. You can't save. I'm gonna pause.
I'm not saying
I'm
that
gonna go to
that's
work
you.
For 8 hours.
No, it is.
Go back.
Okay.
Don't hedge it. It's me.
It's you.